Hey, welcome to D Time Season 1, Episode 52, titled The Cure. And kind of what's behind that title is, I wanted to sit down with a friend of mine who wants to get into the medical research field and particularly studying out cancer research. And it's pretty cool how she got inspired to go into that. When we chatted, it turns out someone that she knew was affected by cancer, and particularly colon cancer. And I know that's something that's has affected my family too. My father, was diagnosed with colon cancer a few years ago and has gone through a lot of challenges. He's on the other side of it, but still, deals with it. And so I got checked this past year. And so when I think about finding cures, that's something that's truly noble. I don't know if we think about the many, many men and women out there who are trying to find the cures for many diseases. And I was curious to know, what drives that desire. Where does that come from? And I'll say it time and time again. I have the utmost respect for those in the medical field. The desire and the responsibility of taking care of another human being and their health that's not related to you. That's a high calling and definitely admirable. So for those in the medical field and just those that serve in general, much appreciated. But I was curious to know what drives that desire. Where does that come from? And just seeing what different parallels and what insights come from that. So I got to sit down with a friend, Kim Aquino, and chat with her. She's a current student at the University of Washington. And for those that don't know, the University of Washington, they have a world-renowned medical program here, and it's very competitive, and a lot of the best and brightest, doctors come out of that field, and researchers come out of that program. And so it's pretty cool to be able to sit down with her and see what inspired her to get into this field, what motivates her currently, and what helped propel that desire to continue in this work. So stick around for part 2 of this episode, where I sit down with Kim and talk about the cure, and we chat about that for a little bit. So stick around, follow the podcast, D-Time Podcast, Twitter and Instagram and Gmail, and we'll be back with part 2. Peace. Hey, welcome to part 2 of D-Time. I'm here with your guest, Kim Aquino. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Kim, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm here at the University of Washington. It's kind of cold, but it's not too bad. Cloudy day.
Awesome. Well, Kim, today we're talking about, the title of the episode is called The Cure. But before we kind of dive into that topic, why don't you take a couple minutes just to introduce yourself to those that may be listening?
Okay. So my name is Kimberly Aquino, like David said. I am a student at the University of Washington. I'm just not taking classes. Well, I'm taking classes in the spring, but right now I'm just taking a break, and I'm working full time at Goodwill, and that's just what I'm doing right now.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm glad I pronounced your name right. That's awesome.
Yeah, you got it pretty good.
So, the title of the lesson is called The Cure, and I thought it'd be cool to talk about medical research, and I know that's something that you're very interested in. But I'm curious, what made you want to get into medical research?
Well, I've always wanted to be a doctor, but I feel like now, since I've seen how much work that goes into it and how many years you have to spend in school, I kind of hesitated. I'm I don't really think I have the time for that right now. With the just half my life is gonna be spent going to school and just continuing to keep on going to school and stuff like that. I feel like I just couldn't really. I don't think I'm cut out for that. And so I was and then in the summer before coming to college, I did an internship with the USDA that's in WSU Pullman. And so I did a research there, and I ended up liking the work. And so I'm like, why not combine the two? Like, do research, but then like do it like in the medical field, which is what I originally wanted to do.
Mm.
So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. You're able to find that connection. Is there any particular area within the medical research that you're particularly interested in?
I think I would want to go into like cancer research because I've had like personal connections to it. Like my uncle, he passed away of colon cancer, and my grandma, she had I think I forgot the specific name, but like throat cancer basically.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean, side note, my dad too. He had colon cancer a couple of years ago, and this past year I got tested. Since I'm considered a high risk or whatever,
Yeah.
so I got tested. So for those listening out there, the guys, get your butts checked for colon
Yeah,
cancer.
it's really important because if you don't get it checked out, you might find out late, like too soon in life or too late in life.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So going back to medical research, what do you feel like is kind of like one of the more interesting aspects of that type of work?
Like interesting, like what I
Yeah,
find
and
interesting.
specifically, like, the cancer research. What outside of obviously, having folks that that have cancer, what other things are of a particular interest in terms of that type of research?
I think for me, like what I find like really interesting is being able to find maybe like a cure. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people have been like spending years and years and on trying to like find the cure for like cancer, and just being able to be a part of that. And if like one day somebody is able to find the cure, and just being able to like find the cure for cancer, and like just seeing how many lives will be impacted by it, and like how many lives can be saved. And because cancer is it's treatable, or like it's depending on the type. It's treatable, but it's not like a guarantee that you're gonna live in it.
Right. Now, I know you're kind of, just getting in the beginnings of it, but for
Yeah.
you, to this point, are there any aspects of like learning about this field or in field in general that you feel translates into other aspects of your life or life in general?
I feel like um well, like research is very like independent work, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like for me, I tend to be a very independent person, so I like to do things on my own. And with research, you I mean you work with the lab, but it's like your own work at your own pace, and um just finding a balance between your work and like life and stuff like that. I feel like it's more like manageable and time efficient. I feel
Nice. That's awesome.
like. Yeah.
So, Kim, I always like to ask the same question to folks that I sit down and talk with. And it doesn't have to necessarily have anything to do with the field of medical research, but what is one of the best pieces of advice that someone has shared with you?
I feel like just never being afraid to go after like what you want, because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like for me, like I can tend to be like a coward, and like talk myself down, and just convince myself that I'm not gonna be able to do it, and just feeling like scared about going for things. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like just like learning to set that fear aside, and allowing yourself to do things that you won't be able to, and just like being surprised by the results when you do actually try.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's great input. Kim, thank you so much. I know that, this topic is a very in-depth, detailed topic, but I think it's important that, man, there's a lot of, people doing great work and trying to find cures to diseases. And I think it's cool that that's something that you enjoy, wanting to find that answer. So thank you
Yeah.
for taking the time out and chatting with me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Those are
And so for those listening, if you're in the medical field, for anyone listening, let us know what you enjoy maybe challenges, insights that you have when it comes to this topic. And you can follow this podcast on Twitter at DTime Podcast and Instagram, and send us an email at dtimepodcast@gmail.com. Thank you once again, Kim.
You're welcome. It was fun.